Question to the candidates will be asked by Mr. Christopher David Alvarez. I'm asking all the panelists to please step to the mic and ask your question.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank AACP for having and hosting this event, so citizens of Springfield can find out about each mayor who wants to be elected for the city of Springfield. And this is my question. At Alliance Develop Power, one of our cooperative principles is that we balance the needs of the individual, the community, the tenants, the workers, businesses, and the environment. When the balance is threatened, we call on our elected officials to lift up our core values with the goal of creating a community in which our basic needs are met. My name is Christopher Alvarez. I grew up in the city of Massachusetts, Springfield, Massachusetts. I love the city, but I cannot live in a city where my public safety is threatened. I cannot live in a city where my community is targeted with drive-by shootings. And I want to know, what are you going to do to make Springfield a safer city for all its citizens? Thank you.
I'm going to ask Mayor Sarno to be the first to answer that question.
Alvarez, thank you very much. As I stated in my opening statements, what we are doing as far as the street attack as we move forward. I worked with ADP when it comes to my youth violence initiative and my anti-violence task force led by Darryl Moss, and also on the anti-foreclosure ordinance with Councilor Rivera. What's important as we move forward, I think the smallest percentage should have to be dealt with our street actions with police and local law enforcement officials. I believe it's more in youth development and education programs that we put forth. We brought ROCA in with other our youth development activities as far as dealing with intervention with a lot of these people that are gangbangers. I know my walks in the evening to neighborhoods, many times the ROCA people will engage these people. Another thing we're doing too is the Quality of Life Flex Squad, first time ever in the city of Springfield, where the police department deals with our separate departments in the city working to clear up quality of life issues as we move forward. But I also think what's important too is that the more connecting with our parents. Parents need to know where their kids are, who their kids with, and who's in their home. The police commissioner, the mayor, a city councilor, the courts cannot do it all as we move forward. So we've been very aggressive in our innovative youth development programs. Education I've tackled through teen pregnancy. We're bringing on a new teen health and behavioral environment type aspect, opening up in Mason Square. We're also moving forward on initiatives pertaining to food policy, a lot of things that build up as far as making sure that our young people stay engaged. Truancy, our truancy rate has gone down, and working with the Sheriff's Department, keeping kids engaged. I've also brought back middle school sports. The hook there, kids playing ball, they want to stay in school. I've supported community centers to stay open. We're looking for initiatives to keep some other community centers open late at night, Saturdays, with other facilitators in there for parents too. So it's a community approach. Hopefully the smaller percentage will be law enforcement, and the other percentage will be education, youth development, and parents. Thank you.
Jose?
Right, thank you. Well, obviously, I think whatever we're doing, it's not enough, it's insufficient, and I don't think we have a real clear plan for law enforcement and crime prevention in the city. Last year, there were 18 murders. This year, we've had 15 murders to date, and we're well on our way to 20. When Mayor Sarno ran against Charlie Ryan 4 years ago, he issued the mayor the report card. In that report card, he gave Charlie Ryan failing points on public safety because there were 17 murders that year. And the mayor used that as a strategy to get himself elected, because that was not a good report card on Mayor Ryan. I think it's not a good report card on Mayor Sarno today either. I believe that we need to change our philosophy in the city of Springfield to be more proactive rather than reactive, and to come up with a crime prevention strategy, not simply law enforcement. We have the information, we have the technology to use crime analysis to be able to prevent crimes. It happens in other cities throughout the country with statistics much worse than Springfield. When the mayor talks about it's the scourge of America, well, yes, youth violence is a problem in America, but you can't just throw up your hands and just have meetings and think that's going to make the problem go away. I've got some concrete ideas on how to do that, and something like establishing a gun squad where you have police officers specifically going after illegal guns. The common denominator in all crimes, violent crimes that are happening in the city of Springfield, is the access to illegal guns. I'm also proposing a gun court Right now, even over the last weekend when there was a rash of shootings within the city, two of the individuals who were involved were out on probation on gun charges. What we need is swift prosecution. If you are caught with an illegal gun, you go to a special gun court where you have a designated district attorney, a designated judge, knowledgeable in gun laws, to have quick prosecution and get you off the street. We can fund that. We can fund that because people always ask, where's the money coming from? Well, in New York City, what they do is if you get caught with an illegal gun, your car is impounded and then sold, and those proceeds fund these initiatives. Thank you.
Ms. Pepe.
Well, first off, the first thing you have to do is hold Chief Fitchett accountable. He's a nice guy, but we have to hold him accountable. We're not getting it done in this city. We need a gang unit. We need a drug unit. We need neighborhood policing. You know, I talked to some professionals today, and I got some better ideas. When you're doing neighborhood policing, use your council offices. Those council offices are paid for out of your tax dollars anyway. But that's where the people will meet with a police officer on a monthly basis. That's where the police officer and then will be able to talk and get things straightened out so that people in the neighborhood know that they have somebody that they can confide in and trust. Then we could have what you call it the park and ride in each district. But the difference between me and the mayor is that I'm not going to be as nice and joined at the hip with Fitchett. I'm going to hold him accountable. Let's face it, these crimes are out of control. You talk about our kids in the schools. You talk about all these programs. It's nice to do a walkthrough. It's wonderful to do a walkthrough. I walk through schools. But when I walk through the schools, I hold the people in the schools accountable because they're not getting the job done. They allow kids to get into schools with iPods, cell phones. When you're walking the streets and when you're a mayor and you see that the crime is still continuing and it's the same old business, then change the way we do things. Start doing them different. Go down to that police station. Sit there and ask them. I want to know what the plan is. I want to do an inventory. I want to see just exactly where our police are stationed, how they're stationed, and the retaliation that runs high. And the people who get promotions, they get them because they're politically connected, not because they're good. We have good cops that are not getting promoted, and they become discouraged. And this nonsense has to stop in the city. And I'm telling you now, I will stop it. I am done with it. We need to save our youth.
Next question will be asked by Ms. Ann Leavenworth. I'm going to ask Mr. Tosado to answer that question first.
Sure. Thank you. Well, first of all, I think in my administration, we would involve all parties, all members of the community, because I think everyone's input is valuable. And that's just the way I work. I'm a career social worker. It's about collaboration. It's about getting best practices. It's about getting people's ideas. The problem that we've been having here in the city of Springfield is that the people that we involve, and actually like Angela Pepper said, are people who are connected, you know, and that doesn't just mean because we've had nothing but white administration. It doesn't mean that it's just white folks. There's people within the communities of color as well who are, I think, part of the problem. But those are the people who get involved, get asked to be involved time after time after time, when the masses, the real people who have thoughts and ideas, get shut out of the process. That's unacceptable. My administration is going to be open. It is going to be transparent. And it's going to be an administration based on collaboration where everybody has an opportunity to weigh in. This is not my city. This is not the mayor's city. This is your city. This is our city. And I think that together together is how we're going to solve the problems that we're facing. So it's my intention to